And, you know, M&S, Monty Strong. For those of you who didn't see it, it's so obvious, but it's right there. So go to ZAZZLE and look up M&S and get some swag. We have some awesome swag. Our main designer, Dolly, with her apprentice designer, Zoya, have been creating some amazing things. So get your stuff at the ZAZZLE store. Who's that? Ree. Hello, Ree. I guess the name is Ree. Ree Adele. So hello, Ree. Welcome. Follow us on page. Become a patron and get on Patreon and follow us. I'm writing. We have short stories that are going to go up on Patreon just for the patrons. So if you're not a patron, you're just going to hear about these short stories, but you're not going to be able to read them. So follow us. Get on Patreon. It's really really affordable. We made several tiers so that you could just follow us there. So get on Patreon and be a patron, please. It'd be awesome. We have a newsletter that I try to be consistent with. So it's go to www.orlandoasanchez and sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get 3 short stories that you can't get anywhere else. So do that. And follow us on BookBub. Jeez, we're all over the place. Follow us on BookBub. So look up Orlando Sanchez on BookBub. And Binge Books, which Dolly and I call Bebo. But on Binge Books, follow us there. And you could just follow us and find out what we're up to there also. Whew, wow, the announcements get longer and longer each time. Wow, I'm gonna have to space out the announcements. All right, so let's we got plenty of time. That only took, what, 5 minutes? So we got plenty of time. Let's get to the questions first, because we didn't get to the questions 2 weeks ago, and I want to get to the questions first, and then we'll get to what's happening, the current events and things that are going on. And if you have any questions, and they're not spoiler related, I will try to answer them today. So if you have questions, please post them, and I will answer them also. So you can feel free to do that also, as well. Let me get to the questions because I have them here under the event post. So, reposted from 2 weeks ago. These are questions from last time. The first question is for Dolly. Yay! Yay. Dolly's here. You're going to see her face in a moment. The question is, we're not going to see her face. We're just going to hear the disembodied voice. Really? You're going to hear her disembodied voice in a moment. What's your favorite underappreciated novel, Dolly?
Audrey, I'm afraid I do not have an answer for you. I do not know.
So the voice of Dolly has spoken. She doesn't have an answer for you. She doesn't know. She has a lot of novels she likes.
I do.
She has a lot of novels.
Think about it.
But she gave it thought.
I did give it
she gave it a lot of thought.
Since, since you asked it 2 weeks ago, and I could not find an answer for you.
Sorry. So that's not sorry. That is an answer. She just doesn't have a favorite underappreciated novel. She has a lot of novels she likes. Just none of them are favorites, and none of them are underappreciated. So there you go, Audrey. All right, next question is for me, and it is, what's the most difficult aspect of writing a female character? I tried to answer this 2 weeks ago, but we had our technical difficulties, so hopefully this week I'll be able to answer it without an issue. Writing a female character, for me, and I'm only speaking from my own personal opinion, is really no different from writing a male character. You just have to kind of understand that men and women are different, yes, but they're not that different in the sense that they have feelings, characteristics, personalities. So it's not that different. It's just really knowing the character well and knowing how the character will react in any given situation. So the most difficult aspect would be not falling into cliche or tropes that would make the female character less than an important character in the story, or make it a cutout character. I try never to have cutout characters in my story, so every character really moves the story forward. And so I don't really have much difficulty writing female characters. You guys have read my female characters. You tell me if my female characters come across as female. The only litmus test that I use is that if I were to transpose the female character for a male character, would it work? And it has to work as a female. Like, this is something that a female would say in the context of the story. And I never have an issue with that because the females are decidedly females. But they're tough. All the females that I write in all my stories, they're never damsels in distress. Never. I don't subscribe to that characterization of women as damsels in distress. You know, I believe women should be strong, and so that's the way I write them. If you have a different opinion, that's awesome. I love to hear it, but that's the way I write the women and the female characters in my books. And I don't think I've ever written a weak female character. Have I? I don't think so. You guys let me know. Hello, Yasmin. Hello, Matthew. Welcome. If I've missed you and you just entered, welcome and hello. Okay, next question from Audrey. I'm answering questions early because we had our technical glitch last time, and so I want to get to the questions. They're important.
Can you reload the page?
I can. Hold on a second. Let me reload my page. Is there stuff on the page I need to see? Oh, let's see. I'm not even.
Question.
Yeah, is it?
It's okay.
No, it's here. It's here. Right here. Jumps. No, Mark, you're not hallucinating. And if you are, it's a mass hallucination. Where's the question? What's the question? Is it on the post? From Jeanette. There's a question from Jeanette.
If Monty lives to be Dex's age, is he likely to be of similar power level?
If Monty lives to be Dex's age, is he likely to be of a similar power level as Dex? That's a good question. Maybe not, because Dex, as will be discovered in other stories, Dex has done certain things that really have increased his power level. So Dex is kind of an anomaly in the sense that he's so strong. I mean, to the fact that he's attracted the attention of a goddess with the Morrigan. Monty will be strong if he gets to be Dex's age, but I don't know if he'll be as strong as Dex. Dex is pretty much his own mage in that sense. Hello, John. Welcome. Hello, Robert. Welcome. Welcome to the Mob TV Kaffeklatch. Hope you have your beverage, your coffee or tea or soda or juice or whatever it is you drink. Hot water even. Okay, so let's continue. Let me know if more questions pop up, darling. All right. Next question. Name something a friend of yours had as a child that you did not have and really wanted. When I was a child, we were very content with everything that we had. So my mom taught us to be happy with what we had. So we didn't really, we didn't really covet what other kids had. And then as we got older, we were the ones that had everything that other kids wanted. So I really can't speak to something that a friend of mine had that I wanted as a child, because we pretty much had everything we wanted, or everything that we had, we wanted. So we didn't know to want what someone else had. So it was never really a feeling of lack. It was more like, I've got everything I need. And then as I grew older, then once I started working, that was never an issue. I never really worried about what other people had. So, but thanks for that question. That is awesome, Audrey. You guys, if you have questions, this is the day to, this is the moment to bring them up. Bring them up, and then I'll address them.
From Jasmine.
From Jasmine.
Does Peaches not change his weight in the car to mess with Simon?
Does Peaches not change his weight in the car to mess with Simon? No. Peaches becomes XXL in response to situations. So, besides the fact that he wouldn't fit in the dark goat, I don't think he would want to mess with Simon that way. Plus, it might cost him sausage. I don't think he wants to do that. So, but no, he doesn't change his weight in the car to mess with Simon. Davina says, I don't have an issue with a female character needing rescuing, as long as being rescued isn't her entire purpose in existing. Right. What's the rest of that? Because I lost it on the feed here. Davina's.
Oh. I do not have an issue with a female character needing rescuing, as long as being rescued isn't her entire purpose in existing. Everyone needs help sometimes. What's annoying is when they may as well be a doll. Once untied, they should be able to actively participate in their escape.
Exactly, right. Yeah, it's like Doug is saying, damsels in distress are not nearly as entertaining as a strong woman holding her own, but getting help when she needs it, right? Hello, Laura. Hello, Leslie. Exactly. But I've never been a big fan of the damsel in distress trope, so I don't anticipate ever writing it. Oh, Jasmine says, I meant to make him so smaller because you talk about how Hellions can change their sizes, density. He's not gonna get smaller than the size he is now, so he wouldn't make himself any smaller than he is normally, and that size is the McSprawl size, where he takes up the whole back seat. If you've ever seen a Cane Corso, I've had the privilege of being around a real one, real life. They're big dogs. They're Mastiffs. So they take up a lot of space. Peaches, that's his regular size. He goes up from there. He doesn't get any smaller than that. And in terms of density, I don't think he can regulate the density that way at that size. I think the density comes with the size. So, yeah. Maybe later on, we'll have him develop that ability where he could have a big size and an extra large size, like Cerberus in what book was Cerberus featured in? Hell Hath No Fury. In Hell Hath No Fury. All right, so yes, Jenna, we do have a wide range of female characters. It's funny because the book is about Monty and Simon, like the story's about Monty and Simon, but there are a lot of female characters in the world, in the M&S world. And M&S does not mean Marks and Spencer. Just getting that clear, because every time I say M&S, all my UK mob people go, you know, M&S means Marks and Spencer, right? And I keep explaining that M&S only means Montague and Strong, but they had to use Marks and Spencer as a legal thing in the UK. That's what it really means. So I'll have them blow up some Marks and Spencers the next time they're in the UK. Thank you, Melody. I'm glad you love the books. Awesome.
Question.
There's another question coming in. Who? What? How? What?
From Davina.
From Davina. Go.
Can Peaches control how much he grows, or is it more like having two forms, a big one and a really big one?
Can Peaches control how much he grows? No, I think his forms is set. He has a big size and extra, but I don't think he can control the size. At least not while he's a puppy. Maybe when he becomes a little more mature, we can have him control the actual size of, you know, his mass. But right now, he just gets big and then XXL. He just XXL is enormous. So yeah, and that I don't think that's a matter of he can modulate that, you know. All right, see you soon, Chris. Chris is saying BRB. Yeah, so let's see, where are we? All right, so let me give you updates. We have audiobooks. Jeanette's always on top of our audiobooks. I think sometimes even before we are. It's amazing. Jeanette says, hey, by the way, your audiobook is out. And I'm like, I haven't even got the notice yet. What do you mean it's out? So, and welcome Jeanette, who's like, what time is it in Australia? Wherever she is at the bottom of the world. It's like in the middle of the night. It's in the middle of the night. So welcome to all of you people who are in different time zones who made it a point to be here today with us, even with the U.S. getting out of sync with everyone else with that hour forward. I appreciate you guys being here, all of you who are in, you guys are in the normal time zones, we're in the out of sync time zone. So Walking the Razor Book 12 will be out, we're expecting the beginning of May, so it's going to be out soon. That one I'm really looking forward to listening to because, wow, that one's like 70 something. How big is Walking the Razor? 70?
70.
It's like over 70K. So that's 75K. It's really big. So it's going to be a nice listen to. Let's see. Nameless is out there, so don't forget to leave your reviews for Nameless. Nameless is currently sitting at, drum roll please, 28 reviews. Come on, guys. Let's pick up those reviews. There's like it's like 1,400 of us in the mob. So let's get those reviews for Nameless. I get it that it's book 4 of a series that's like being revived again. But let's add some reviews to Nameless, please. So when you get a moment, take some time and just leave a quick review, all right? And I'll put notice up in the mob too. Same thing with They Rend. They Rend, I know, has more reviews because it's a current story and it's just recently released. So, but same thing, please leave your reviews when you can. Doesn't need to be long. Doesn't need to be a book or a treatise or an essay or a thesis. It just needs to be there, okay? Do you have a question? Okay, awesome. Jeanette says, I might have a minor addiction to your audibles. Yeah, minor, Jeanette, just minor. So yeah, please leave your reviews for They Rend. Update on Requiem. Okay, so right now I'm focusing on finishing They Kill, and I'm really close. But the leader of the knack, I'm gonna say, the leader of the knack, that's really good. You know, we can start using that as the you know that song, Leader of the Pack. He gave me the leader of the knack. The leader of the knack is saying that I'm saying the story's gonna be done soon, and she's saying there's too much happening for it to be done so soon. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm thinking of wrapping it up this weekend so you guys can have the art Monday, Tuesday. And then I'm jumping into Requiem. And then Requiem is already, I've been writing notes on Requiem. Even as I'm writing, they kill. So Requiem's gonna be a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff going on in Requiem. Wow, 11 pages in the spreadsheet, Jeanette. That's a lot of pages. So there you go. 2:50 a.m. You should be sleeping, Jeanette, really. So the status of They Kill, as I'm saying, I have to look because the leader of the knack is right next to me. Nyx and Acheron are near the climax of the story. They're just kind of putting things into place so they can go deal with the big bad guy who's been after them and making life miserable. So I'm currently, let me tell you how many words I'm at for Nyx right now. It's supposed to be 20K. I'm at 16K already. I don't think it's gonna stay at 20K. It's definitely gonna pass 20K. I have a feeling 4K is not gonna be enough they gotta see Flint, they gotta go meet Victoria, and then they gotta deal with the main antagonist. So that's gonna be more than 4K. So, but I'm gonna try and keep it to 4K, but Nyx is not cooperating. But these three books, They Bite, They Rend, They Kill, are acting as a prequel to the Darken series. So the knack has successfully lobbied to make this a full series.
What?
Yeah, so those three stories, novellas, are just the beginning of more that's coming up, you know? So, just, congratulations, Knack. The leader and all of you in the mob, the Knack Coalition, has managed to make Nyxia and Acheron a full series. So you guys are amazing. Yeah, it's a toss-up, John. If I make them shorter, you get them faster, but if I make them longer, you get more to read. So it's kind of like, which one? But this is going to be the beginning of the Darken series, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm writing it so it sets up that, well, I can't tell you without spoiling too much, but the way I'm writing this last novella sets up the Darken series. Okay? So let's okay, I wanted to say, so those of you that came here expecting the red shirt competition, it's going to happen next mob, which is the 16th, because the person who created the question was Craig the Dragon, and he can't be here today. And so, pass the word, share. He's gonna be here on the 16th. He's gonna present the question, and anyone who's in the mob on that day gets to answer the question, and then you get to be put in the book and you get killed. Your demise is in the book. So let's see. Jeanette saying, "Wow, that's a lot of information, Jeanette." So characters per sheet include. Sheets of data include characters per book. I keep losing it. Why do I keep losing it? What Jeanette said with the character per book? Go ahead. And the voice of Dolly will speak now.
Organizations. The style guide.
A style guide, nice. I like the style guide.
Ziller
theorems to melt your mind, yes. And master Yachtisms in case you're feeling spicy and you gotta get whacked.
Places.
Oh, there's more. Places. Vehicles. Easter eggs, notations, and timeline. I got that part. Thank you, voice of Dolly. Awesome. She's really here. I'm not recording. I haven't recorded her voice. She's here. She's right here. Why don't you say hello?
Hello.
No, I mean, why don't you show your face and say hello? That's awesome. That's what I did say. I did say hello.
Move your camera.
Let me move the camera. Here we go. Say hello.
Hello.
She wants to be off camera just for this mob. So there's a lot of stuff going on with Jeanette, the information Jeanette's compiling. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. So thank you, Jeanette. That is amazing. All right, what do we at? So the retro competition is going to be on the 16th, which is the next mob. Craig came up with a fantastic question. Don't worry about it, Chris. I should have told you beforehand, but Craig came up with a great question that even I was like, whoa, that's an evil question. And so, typical of Craig. And so that's going to be the 16th, and then we'll have whoever's here on that day gets to answer, and whoever the first person to answer gets to be put in a book and killed. So get ready. It's a good question. You're going to have to really think. So, okay, that's it. All right, bye. No, I'm kidding. We have like over half an hour. It's fantastic. Nice. All right, so how you guys doing? Talk to me. What's going on? Tell me about the stories. Tell me about what you've read, what you're reading. Thoughts on Monty Strong. Thoughts on Sepia Blue. It feels weird revisiting that world after so long, 4 years. And it's been an interesting. A lot of people telling me that they really enjoy the Nameless book. So let me hear your thoughts on Nameless, because it felt odd going back to that style of writing too. Going back to writing where there's so many threads happening all at once, and having to keep track of the threads and making sure they don't get tangled or lost, or that any of them are just hanging out there without getting resolved somewhat in the book. Davina says, did you know the answer, or did I have to ask Craig? No, I knew the answer, but I had to research it, which is crazy because I wrote it. So it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, Chris, it was tricky getting back into Sepia because you kind of had to go back 4 years and kind of get reacquainted, you know? Janelle wants to know, is the Hunters keeping a fixed point? Yes, it is. This is in a fixed point space and time. It's in Central Park, in Sepia's Central Park, which is why in the last book where Monty does the test on Simon, they travel to Sepia's world through Dex's room. Jasmine says, doing okay. Been reading a mix of stuff. Did tell people to read about peaches for Kimbra. Oh yeah, Kimbra has a shout out to Kimbra. Hello, Kimbra. Kimbra has a April book reading challenge about animals that speak or something like that, or similar, familiar or something like that. So go check out her. It's in UF. I think what is it? The UF Post, the UF Urban Fantasy group, and it's just talking about animals that speak. Doug wants to know, how do you come up with such amazing plots? Wow, that's something I was discussing with Dolly at length this morning. Okay, there's different schools of thought regarding this, right? Some writers will say, and I'm not saying one method is more important than the other or better than the other. No writer, if a writer tells you they know where the ideas come from, they're lying to you. That's my opinion, okay? It's not the truth. It's not the final word. Just letting you know, no writer knows where the ideas come from. The execution of those ideas is a different story. That takes skill, that takes craft, that takes practice. It can be taught. The ideas themselves, they just come to you. I think it's a distillation of your life experience, the things that you read, the things that you've exposed yourself to, things of like comics, TV, other books, life, all those things combined are distilled into a brain and create different plots. You start to see the world differently according to your life experience. And I think that's where ideas come from. But there's no definitive place, except for the idea store that every major city has for every writer. When you go to the idea store, then you can get your ideas there. That's it. That's my answer. So that was a long-winded way of saying I don't know. How's that? Bye, Jasmine. Thank you for coming. You got to adult, you have to adult. Bye. Rereading M&S. That's a lot of stuff to read if you're gonna reread all of M&S, Robert. Day Kill will be out soon. I'm working on it. I'm gonna keep it up, Doug, because as long as you guys keep reading, I will keep writing. Yeah, Audrey, I never got into cozy mysteries. I've been tempted to write a mystery, but I can't write. I don't think I can write a cozy. But you know, I'm never gonna say never. So we'll see. Shower thoughts. Yes, Mark. Shower, driving, doing dishes, doing anything that doesn't actively engage your brain. That's when all of a sudden ideas come. I was telling Dog this morning in the middle of the night, I'll get an idea. Like when I have to be up at 4 in the morning, I'll get an idea around 1, 2. It's like, oh, look, this is a great idea. You should write this down now. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? But I'll write it down because I won't remember it at 4 or 5 in the morning. What I will remember is, wow, I had a great idea at 1 in the morning. But I won't remember what the idea is. So I think it's when your brain has a certain amount of downtime and it's been working on these things for a while that all of a sudden here's an idea, boom. And then if you don't write it down, it goes to someone else. That's my thought on that. If you get an idea for a story and you don't take it and run with it, someone else will. That's what happens. Yeah, so yes, the idea store, also known as a local bookstore or the local idea place. The library is a great idea store, A short cozy mystery with Simon could be funny. I think if I'm gonna do a cozy mystery, it will be with the Brew and Chew. I think that would be even more fun. Yeah. Aaron says he knows that reading grows your brain. He got all his reading badges. That's fantastic. Time to say congratulations and to keep reading because it does grow your brain for sure. Yeah, Audrey, I think a cozy mystery with Simon would be great, but I think with Simon and the Brew and Chew would be even better because he still has to kind of reconcile the fact that they saved him, and it's Cece and a bunch of animals that saved him last time. So he's still living it down. And I like the little jab that Gray gave him about being saved by the Brew and Chew. So you get saved by a bunch of animals. So I think that's awesome. So if I do write a cozy, it'll be something along those lines. I'll poke fun at it. Or Bangers and Mash cozy mystery. Geez, that would be hilarious. A Bangers and Mash.
You missed what Malcolm said, a cozy mystery romance.
Yeah, cozy mystery romance, Malcolm? I don't think so. I don't see that happening. But I won't say never, because you know me, I don't say never. So we'll see. Robert says there needs to be an M&S movie. Colin Firth as Monty. Now, that's not going to work, Colin Firth as Monty. And Ryan Reynolds as Simon. Ryan Reynolds can work as Simon. Colin Firth, no, I think it's more Benedict Cucumber Boy would be better. What does Davina say? One of the Discworld books has the idea of floating ideas and how a lot of things never get invented because they ended up in a brain that couldn't do it, like the brain of a snail. But Terry was a master of that kind of stuff. I mean, Terry, I'm still in awe. I hear things about Terry Pratchett, or I read excerpts still today that I've already read, and I'm just like blown away by the way he presented certain things and the way he thought about it and the way he conveyed them made you think. And that whole concept of the footnotes, I'm trying to figure out a way how I could do that in a book, where I could just start putting footnotes in the book. Because he would take the footnotes and he would just make the story even better with the footnotes. It's incredible. They say, what is Mark saying? Ideas are actually particles that sleep through the ether. Some brains are just better adapted to receiving them. Those that are particularly receptive have learned to keep a notebook by the side of the bed. It is far better alternative than waking up to find their sheets covered in scrolls of ideas. Yep. That is definitely plagiarized from Sir Terry, and it's true. I think if you just write them down real quick, you keep them. If you try to say you're going to remember, not going to happen. Aaron wants you to write a kid's book so that he can read it. Actually, I want Aaron to write a book so I can read it. How about that? Terry gave master classes in philosophy, ethics, and social justice. Yes, Jeanette. You can read. The great thing about reading Sir Terry is that you can read his books on several levels. You can read it just purely for the entertainment, But then he did speak about ethics and social justice and philosophy, and his books had depth to them, which is why you can go back and read anything by Sir Terry and be like blown away, because it's funny, but it's also amazing. RC on YouTube says his wife really wants him killed off. RC, I don't know if I should take that in a good way or a bad way. So we'll see. But, you know, hey, anything can happen, right? So we'll see. And hello, RC on YouTube. We'll see if you can get killed off in literature. I think it's a great thing to be murdered in literature. In literature only. Okay. So yeah, what else are you guys reading? I mean, what are some of the genres you read? So the reason I'm currently rereading Discworld, I'm up to Going Postal. I love Going Postal. Going Postal was a great book. I mean, they're all. I mean, you can't really. I think for me, the watch books for me personally, the watch books are the best books. And then a close second is anything with Rincewind in it, because Rincewind is just like it was the first character that I met because it's in Color of Magic, and so I met Rincewind first. So anything by Rincewind, I think I'm biased, but anything with the watch is fantastic. Vimes is a fantastic character. Best comic by Sir Terry is the concept of the $10 boots. Yeah, I remember that actually. See, it's things like that stay with you. It's incredible. Well, the cardboard boots and the $10 boots. It's incredible. It's timeless, Mark says, when you consider that some of the books are well over 20 years old now, and the issues addressed are still relevant. Because a lot of them are recurring issues that happen in society. So that's why. And that's the way Sir Terry wrote. Robert says, as a hopeless romantic, I'm waiting for Michiko and Simon's first kiss. That's so not going to happen. Let's see. What is a GLTB, Jeanette? Is that, I'm guessing, LGTB? I don't know. I've never seen a GLTB, so maybe it's LGTB? I don't know. Jeanette can clear it up. Let's see. The Watch is my favorite group of books, especially The Fifth Elephant. Yes, and Night Watch. I wouldn't be able to choose between any of the Watch books. They're just that good. Coming to mind is Thud. Thud was one of my favorite books when I was reading. That was so good. Currently working through the Watch series again, waiting on a release from Will White. I've never heard of this author. Can you let us know what he writes? Because it sounds interesting. Oh, okay, gay literature. All right, great. Yeah, I mean, I met a few authors when I went to 20 books. It's 2 years ago now, because it wasn't last year. 2 years ago, I met a few authors who, very, very amazing people and funny. I mean, the few authors that I met were funny because they had to explain what they were writing. I'm like, I get it, but it was just, they were telling me about their stories about writing So there's a market for everything. One of my favorite things from the disc is Granny Weather. Oh yeah, Granny, I like Granny. I wasn't too much into the witch stories, but I do like Granny Weatherwax. Saying how evil starts with treating people as things. Other stuff comes later, but that's how it starts. And yes, the othering of people is where it starts. So it's true. And that's what I enjoyed about Sir Terry is how he made these social commentaries through his characters. And like Mark said, they're timeless because they just keep repeating. And that's a really important one. That's where evil starts. When you first you other people and you treat them as things or as less than, and then you can pretty much justify anything by treating people as less than. Let's see what else. Started All the Creatures Great and Small by James Herriot. Since it's been a very long time, the PBS series is doing it justice. Oh, okay, sounds good. I remember the title. I don't remember reading it. So it should be. You guys just gonna increase my to be read list. The Song of Sycamore by Edward Cox lined up. It's the Relic Guild trilogy is a must read. So now you see, you guys are just making me read more stuff. It's crazy. He writes what's referred to as cultivation novels. I don't know what cultivation novels are, Mark. Maybe you could explain it. Robert, are you there? You sound frustrated. It must be your internet is acting up. I'm sorry to hear that. There are so many books that I've read at this point that they're stored in the brain cells, but I don't remember them completely because it's just the information is there, you know, because I've read so many different kinds of books. So yeah. But it's good. It's good to read different things. It's good to read diverse stories. because it broadens your knowledge and it broadens your information base, so it's good. But I haven't read of the Song of Sycamore. So, Magical Kung Fu. Wow, that sounds interesting. Yeah, that reminds me of, what was it? By jeez, now I can't remember it. It was amazing because I had never heard of it before. It featured juggling prominently as part of a skill. What was it?
The weird pictures.
Yeah, it was amazing story, but I can't remember the.
Michael Moore.
Huh?
Michael Moore was the writer.
No, that's a different one. This is jeez. It'll come to me, but no, it wasn't Lust Bader. Was it Lust Bader? It might have been Lust Bader, where juggling was the main character had to learn how to juggle. So, I saw the ad for the Irregulars. I haven't seen an episode yet because I've been doing Peaky Blinders, but it just got really dark and I had to take a break from Peaky Blinders. So, oh no, Eric Van Lustbader, the ninja, I read those stories. Those are really good. Those are excellent books by Eric Lustbader. I really enjoyed those. All the creatures, yeah. Let's see. You've introduced Ayrton to Star Wars. Best thing you could have done. Jeanette, is that Quincy Harker by John Hartness? Because I know John personally. So, yes, Robert Silverberg and Lord Valentine's Castle. Yes, that's what I was talking about, man. That one. That's an amazing story. Yeah. Okay, the booze has run away. Who scared the booze? That sounds like a Vimism. What is episode 3 strange? Oh, with the Irregulars. Well, maybe what you see as inconsistencies are just irregularities. John, see what I did there? The only one I recall is Lord Valentine and the Madripoor books. Yes, those are the ones. Those were very well written by Silverberg. Yes, incredible books. Oh, let's see. I don't understand why it doesn't let me scroll. Maybe because it's the admin face. On the what picture? Oh, it should let me. Yeah, okay, and I'm gonna hear myself. Let me scroll. Okay, much better. Now I can see you guys scroll because I don't need to hear myself. Jeez. Okay. I admit I avoid true crime, horror, and very dark. Jeanette says, the world. Yeah. See, here's the thing. When I initially watched Peaky Blinders, and I don't want to spoil it for Dolly because it's a good show. It was great because the main characters were scrappy, fighting against everybody, but now they've reached a point where they've kind of achieved some kind of notoriety, but also success, and it kind of changes the show a bit for me. So we'll see. I'll keep watching it, but we'll see. I mean, the acting is incredible. Cillian Murphy steals that show, and Helen McCrory, who is Aunt Polly, she is incredible. Jeanette says she met Robert Silverberg at Worldcon when it was in Melbourne. Yeah, I hear he's a great author. So yeah, we've been watching. I mean, Peaky Blinders is fantastic. Just the actors alone is incredible. And then, but I'm gonna try to do something a little lighter. This weekend we're doing, what's it? WandaVision. One of the Valkyries keeps talking to me about WandaVision, and I really want to see Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we'll get from there. Genevieve Corrigan's The Invisible Library is a good series. Plenty of Dragons. Oh, that sounds fun. See. Yeah, I've never heard of Chris Carter, but I don't really read that much crime. I haven't really read that much crime. I did read Killer, the Hitman series by Lawrence Block. He's a great author. He's a great mystery author. I mean, really well known. And he's written he wrote these. I think it's a trilogy, maybe 4 books about an assassin named Keller, who is like incredible. The writing is fantastic. So if you haven't read Lawrence Block, He also writes a funny series about a burglar. But Lawrence Block writes some amazing mystery. And of course, Agatha Christie, I have all her full collection. One day I will write a mystery. I just have to find an extra day in the week to dedicate to extra writing.
Laura asks, when do you find time to read?
When do you find time to read? Let's see. I snatch moments when I can. I have to snatch that time to read. Right now I'm reading, I usually read nonfiction when I'm writing because and I know I've said this before, I don't like to read other stories within the same genre because my concern is bleed through. Like even though you don't really want to, some ideas may bleed through into your own writing. That's my thought. So I don't read fiction or urban fantasy and stuff when I'm writing. But in between projects, I can read a lot. So yeah. Superman and Lois. I haven't seen Superman and Lois. They have kids? Wow. So Larry Niven's story, Man of Steel, Woman of Kleenex. I'll have to check that out. Thanks, Robert. Ayrton asked Davina the other day who the most famous dragons are. Smaug, Falkor, Dragon. Let's see, who else would be a famous dragon? There are a few, but I think Smaug has to be one of the most famous dragons, for sure. Curtin, Poirot's last case. Right, Curtin, yeah, Poirot's a fantastic character. When Agatha Christie thought up of Poirot, Hercule Poirot, that's incredible. That character encompasses, it's when you mention Hercule Poirot, you mention mystery. And Agatha Christie go together. It's hard not to think of mystery and Poirot together. Malcolm's asked, do I like audiobooks? Could you listen to the gym? I can't listen to audiobooks at the gym. I'm training. I can't listen to an audiobook as I'm training because I'm trying to lift massive amounts of weights. And so the audiobook is not going to do it for me. Kelcade's King's Dark's Tide. Wow, you guys are fantastic. You guys have all these things. You're going to have to make a recommendation list. We maybe add these all to the L3 at some point. Let's see. Aragon is a famous dragon too. There's some famous dragons out there that are in literature and film as well. But I have to say Smaug is by far one of the most famous dragons. Yeah, because of just Tolkien. So yeah, Puff, of course, Puff the Dragon Dragon. Chris says sleep. Yeah, that's my same reaction. Listen, I have my training shifted because the gym now opens at 5 instead of 6. So my wake up time is now 4 instead of 4:30. So there you go. Yes, all the dragons, the Dragon Riders of Pern, those dragons are famous as well. Tiamat is also a very famous dragon. If you play D&D, there's many famous dragons in D&D also. So Pharaohvax, also really famous. Yeah, and Fafnir, of course. Yeah, so those are like the top dragons. So there you can tell Ayrton the top dragons, but you still have to start with Smaug. Smaug is pretty much the most famous. And Jeanette, who's up at this point, like at 3 something in the morning, doesn't know what sleep is because she's like me, doesn't sleep. So yeah. Yeah, see, Davina, all those dragons, most of those dragons are in literature. If you read Anne McCaffrey, Dragon Riders of Pern, you'd know who Nemeth and Ramath are. And Pharaohvax, Fafnir, these are all dragons that are in literature. I'm surprised Pratchett did Pratchett have dragons? Does Sir Terry have dragons in every his writing?
Lady Sybil raised baby dragons.
Oh, that's right, Lady Sybil raised baby dragons. Who else would raise? That makes perfect sense that she would raise dragons. Toothless, yes, from How to Train a Dragon, also very famous. Toothless is a hugely famous dragon right now. I'm surprised we didn't have a Toothless craze with the kids. They were too little to watch when they watched the movie. Is that what it was? Yeah. Toothless is a hugely famous dragon right now because of the movie.
And then they had a little miniseries.
Yeah, they had a series, right? Yes, guards, Lady Sybil's raising baby dragons. Dragons are part of our mythology. I mean, everywhere. Like, they're just everywhere. If you were to research dragons, you'd have to go back almost to the beginning of civilizations. Dragons have been part of humanity's existence from the beginning. So, the dragon in Shrek, that's right. But that dragon didn't have a name. It was just dragon. But also a very famous dragon because that's the dragon that the donkey married and had little baby dragon donkeys. So, yeah. Bye, Laura. I'm sorry I froze on you because I don't see myself frozen. Am I frozen on your end? No. Bye, Laura. Have a good Easter. Yes. Sybil Ramkin swap. Yes, swamp dragons, right. Yeah, I don't remember the dragon being summoned. It might be guards also, yeah. But yeah, there weren't many dragons featured heavily in Discworld stories. Those kind of dragons, Chris, are the dragons that we encounter in the middle of the night or in the dark times. Those are different dragons. Do you think humans extrapolate dragons from dino bones? It's very possible. If you see the bones of a large creature and you don't really understand where this creature came from, it's very possible that you would think this was a dragon, you know? So, Jeanette says, interesting is the polarity of dragons in the West. They're mainly classed as evil, but when you get over to the East, yeah. If you ever watch anything by Studio Ghibli, or, dragons are featured as benevolent creatures. And in Asian mythology or Asian mythos, dragons are considered wise and helpful. So in the West, they're, you got to go out and kill them. In the East, it's more they help humanity. So it's different. So yeah, it's true, Mark. The big dragons are in the place where dragons go, where there's enough magic to sustain them. Yeah, that's probably true too. What is COMLF? Had dragons from Wurmberg. I don't know what that is, Mark. Chinese dragons, yes. Rain of Fire with McConaughey and Color of Magic and what is it? Life Fantastic. Oh, really? Okay, I have to research that. Rain of Fire. Remember that movie? I actually enjoyed that movie with Christian Bale and McConaughey, and those dragons were awesome. Yeah. Yeah, but we're not going to get into that, John. So, definitely. Color of Magic, Life Fantastic. I'll have to look at it, but I'm pretty sure they were touched upon in that one. Mushu. Oh my God, how can we forget Mushu? Mushu was a dragon, not lizard. Dragon. Mushu's a famous dragon. Right, but if you look at it, Mushu is portrayed as the typical Asian dragon. It's the dragon of the ancestors. It's the dragon that provides wisdom, that provides assistance. Dragons in that culture, in that part of the world, were viewed as benevolent creatures. So it's different. All kinds of dragons, Western, Asian, yes. The Temeraire, all kinds of dragons. Interesting. Oh, you should see Mulan. Ayrton would enjoy Mulan. And then you're going to get a lot of Mushu. So you should definitely see it. Yes, Mushu or Frank's. Well, Frank is, Frank doesn't really, I guess we could say we have a dragon. Frank doesn't really qualify as a dragon except in his own mind. Because he's a thorny lizard. But in his mind, he is a dragon. So, and in Peach's mind, he's a dragon too. So there you go. Peach stands up for Frank's rights to call himself whatever he wants to call himself. So, I can't wait for that conversation to happen between Simon and Frank. Not one where Frank conveniently has stuff to do uptown or across the town, but where they actually have to have a conversation. Yes, Mulan, the animation, not the live action, Davina. If you're going to watch a version of Mulan, watch the animated one. Draco from Dragonheart. Yeah, that's another dragon. Not as famous, but still pretty famous. Davina wants to know, why did you make him a thorny lizard rather than a bearded dragon? Because a thorny lizard is more fun, and he's irascible and rubs people the wrong way. And a thorny lizard, I thought, in my opinion, the thought of he calling himself a dragon but actually being in the body of a thorny lizard is a great paradox, because he feels like a dragon and he's actually a very powerful mage, but he's in the body of a thorny lizard. So, you know, he's got to do what he's got to do. He's got to work with what he has. Frank reminds me of my wish dragon I was gifted in 1983. Awesome, yeah. Yes, Scott, I'm looking forward to the Simon Frank conversation. It's got to have to happen somewhere where they can't blast each other, or at least around the people who won't let them blast each other. So, yeah. But it should be fun. You see, John, that's something for a story in the future where Frank actually, for a short time, becomes an actual dragon to help save the day. That would be fun, because then he could actually become like a full dragon and come in and like just rub it in Simon's face. Like when Simon sees him and goes, what's that? And then Frank turns and goes, it's me. You know, something like that. That would be fun. Dragons are going to feature heavily in Requiem. They're going to have a lot of dragons in Requiem. And so that'll be fun too. But yeah, the thing is that he, like Chris says, he believes he's a dragon. And for Frank, that's enough. And yes, Mark, it's very much the Chihuahua syndrome, where some of the loudest dogs I've heard are some of the smallest dogs. And that's just the way it is. But the difference with Frank is that he's loud, but he can back up his words. He just chooses not to confront Simon right now. Maybe because of his friendship with Peaches. It could be that. What are lung dragons? Never heard of this. Don't worry, Robert. You're here. We can still see you, but it's maybe the internet where you are. Frank should be philosophical about it, John. I became to save and I don't need to do it again. Contentment. Yeah, it would be something like that where he can save the day and then realize that he doesn't want to be that size. He doesn't want to be in that form. He was better off, because then he couldn't be in the dive. He couldn't hang out with Gray and Coda and Cole. So he likes being a thorny lizard after all, kind of thing, you know. Oh, lung dragon is a Chinese dragon with 5 claws. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Heather. It's not the size of the dragon in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dragon. Yeah, but in many cases, it's also the size of the dragon, too. So, would love Peaches to meet Doxies. Who or what are Doxies? Oh, I see what you're saying. Lung means dragon. Got it. See? I didn't realize that. See, I learned something new today. Celestial dragons are lungs. Lung means dragon. Got it. And what are Doxies, Melody? Exactly, Davina. Smog would disagree. For a dragon, size is important. Or Doxies or Dachshunds. Oh, that's what you call a Dachshund. Doxies. Got it. I don't know if I'm going to bring any more animals into the M&S world. I think we have plenty. If you can count, we have a lot of animals in the M&S world that all figure pretty heavily. We have Peaches, of course, who's the star of M&S. Then we have Rags. We've got Frank. We've got Herc, which is the Morrigan's spy on Dex. I'm sure there are others. Huh? You got Ink, who's recently joined us. Yeah, so there's enough. I think we have enough to have a zoo at this point. Enough animals. We're not bringing any more animals. I think for now, we'll see. Oh, Doxies are chainsaws on legs. Yeah. Peaches, is that a mobile sausage? Yeah, basically, if he sees a Doxie or a Dachshund, it's small, it's down low to the ground, and it's long. It's gonna look like a sausage. You might want to take a bite out of it. So we're gonna avoid bringing in Dachshunds. Small dog, big attitude. Yeah, but that's the thing. With Peaches, it's a big dog, and that small dog just becomes a big snack. So we're gonna pass on bringing in Dachshunds. So, yeah. But that's great. I'm glad we were get all these animals in. Right, I got werebears. I thought the werebears were a great addition because Everyone's done other were animals. We actually have werebears and were-tigers. The were-tiger you haven't seen much. I think there's only one book, Dragons and Demigods, where you see the were-tigers. But we have were-tigers and we have were-bears. So that's also fun to bring in. And if you remember Damned has actually really interesting wares. I won't tell you what they are. You have to look it up and read. If you haven't read Damned, Aftermath, the Damned they're all wares. So that's why they're immune to magic. Mark says, can you tell us more about the Daughters of Bast? Sure, when I write that story, you will know more about the Daughters of Bast. Doxies have the deepest barks compared to their size. I believe it. Yeah, Davina wants to know especially how to kill certain specific ones. Right. When I write that story, you will know all about them. Chris says the were-tigers are hiding south of the city. Yes, they are. You have a were-rhino, right? That's in Aftermath. We have were-rhinos. And there's a were-something else. There's a were... You guys don't know in Aftermath. They're all wares. There's a reason they're immune to magic. So, yeah. I never had them turn, though. I should have them turn in the next story. The next story is going to be Hammered, which is going to be fun. When I write it, I don't know. There's a lot of other projects. We got to read through that calendar again. But yeah. Well, yeah, you knew you weren't going to get more, Mark. Especially when, if I tell you more about the Daughters of Bast, Davina's asking how to kill specific ones. Mainly those whose names begin with J. So, I can't go into that. You know? I wonder if, Davina, do you dislike Jessica more than Chi? Maybe we should have a poll. And see. All right, guys, we have 10 minutes. 10 minutes, yeah. Yeah, we're going to stay away from were-blobfish, for sure. All right, if you guys have questions, this is the time to ask them. I mean, we've been asking them all throughout, but, 10 minutes, and then we're wrapping it up for this. And we haven't had any technical difficulties, which is awesome. So, if you have any questions, this is the time to ask. If they're spoiler, I'll try to answer them as spoiler-free as possible. And, you have to put up a snippet. I'm going to put up a snippet for the weekend. So, yeah, see? With a J. Yeah. So, Jessica has there's a definite anti-Jessica fan club. Yeah. There's a big difference, Davina. There's a big difference for sure. Davina says, I like not liking Chi. Jessica, I can't stand. It's a big difference. Yeah, the feed was... I mean, I barely could keep up with you guys, which is awesome. And technically, like Jeanette says, Chi is already dead. You can't kill her again. I mean, you can, but she's kind of dead already. Melody, have a great weekend. Go pick up the grands. It sounds fantastic. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe. Okay? So, guys, if you don't have any questions, we're going to be wrapping up in about 5 minutes. So, this is the time. I have no questions about Silk is the man this week. I'm going to bring Silk. Jeez, what book am I bringing Silk in? I'm sorry, Dan. Silk is not going to make an appearance for like another... for another 7-8 books. But I promise you Silk will be making an appearance in the M&S world. Yeah. What does Robert say? Chi is definitely my choice. I'm strangely aroused and terrified at the same time. Chi is scary. I wouldn't want to get too close to Chi. John says, but I like Jess. She's the one who can learn, and Alana can impart all his martial arts knowledge to her. Yes, she can learn. She's going to have to learn if she wants to stay alive, for sure. Gotta let some Dottie clients out to party. Go do that, Wendy. You want that to happen outside, not inside, for sure. For sure. Happy Easter, Yasmin. Yes, and have fun, Wendy, for sure. Yeah, you guys, it was great having you here today. Yes, Malcolm J just needs to grow. The thing is that if she doesn't grow fast enough or she's rebellious about it, it's going to be painful. Her first experience is going to be learning from Master Yacht. So that's going to be fun. I almost feel sorry for her, but I don't. But yeah. And I still have to write a story with Master Yacht. So yeah. So Heather says, reading Jess made me realize how sheltered our main character was and fix it. I'm glad I was able to help you, for sure. Like, turn into fertilizer and grow. That's good. She just needs to grow and turn into fertilizer and help grow weeds. Yes. I think I left her plenty of room to grow. I'm going to have to write a character that really dislikes her. Well, she's very myopic in her worldview. So that's going to be painful for Jess. But once I write her story, it's going to be interesting. Trust me when I tell you that you'll end up liking her. Have a great weekend, Audrey. Thank you for being here. You too, Wendy. Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. We got about 5 minutes, right? Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you guys make this show amazing. I always feel like when we're here, we're just hanging out in a big cafe and we're just like, you know, talking and just hanging out together and, you know, going from table to table, like one big table and we're just having great conversation. Introduce her to the Word Weavers. I don't know if she survived the Word Weavers, Davina. But yeah, I think Master Ya would be a good first introduction into the reality of the world that she's stepped into. And maybe Arya would be good for her to realize that the dimension of the energy that she's using is much deeper than she realizes. So maybe it's a two-phase, like learn the physicality from Yat and then learn the magic from Arya, and then maybe with a sprinkling of Dex or Nana to give her some cool corrections, you know? Right, it would be a great place. Have a great weekend, Robert. Eat all the chocolate time. This is happy eat all the chocolate time for sure. Some of my favorite main characters would yeah, Malcolm, they begin that way, and if they grow, that's cool. This could be our virtual coffee shop, Chris. It'd be awesome. Well, I'm glad you made it, Doug. I'm glad that you're here. They're really cool. We try to make them cool because it's really a moment for us to just kind of spend time together and talk. There's no real, what is it? It's like Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing. So it's basically us just getting together and talking about whatever you guys want to talk about. And I kind of let you know what I'm up to. And then we just kind of just hang out and talk. Have an awesome Easter, Dan. And you're welcome, Dan, for being here. I gotta get to see Nobody. Craig says Nobody is a fantastic. So does, I believe, Don also saw it. So we're going to have to talk about Nobody because Bob Odenkirk is fantastic in the trailers. I want to see if the book is good. Yeah, if you can't, and I get that, Davina, I do. If you can't send a main character, you won't read the book. And because usually, especially in character-driven stories, if you can't align with the main character, it's very hard to read the rest of the book because you associate it with the character. So it's hard to read a book when you don't like the main character. Jeanette, it's a great place to have you guys be here too. Dan, I have to see Nobody. I do. I'm not going to a theater right now to see it because the theaters here, it's my understanding the theaters are still closed or on lockdown or some percentage. So I haven't seen it. My Name is Nobody. Yeah, it's like a Western. In this case, I'm wondering if it's connected to John Wick because the guys who wrote Nobody, who created Nobody, also did John Wick. So I'm wondering if the character, because he's an auditor, I wonder if he's connected to John Wick in some way. What's Obsidian by Sun? I don't know what that is, Malcolm. Is that I'm guessing it's a book. But Obsidian by Sun, I've never heard of that title. So there you go. Are you talking about Obsidian Sun? So maybe that's what you mean, not Obsidian by Sun. Yeah, Obsidian Sun. Yeah, Nate is really unlikable in the beginning and then gets more likable as time passes because that was by design. Yeah. That's the way Shane did it. He made Nate really unlikable in the beginning so he could grow into a likable character. Yeah. The trailer for Nobody looks you could pull it out of a John Wick movie, the trailer for Nobody. Because it's the same guys who wrote John Wick, who did John Wick. I'm wondering if they have the same fight choreography too. So we'll see. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. So if I don't get to see it in a theater, I'm sure I'll see it at home at some point. All right, guys, we're wrapping this up. Yeah, I mean, Doug, the books are really well known. So if you guys haven't read Shane's books, you should, because they're really good. So, and he did the character being unlikable as part, it was intentional, and then he made the character grow into a likable character. I've only read Obsidian Sun. I don't know the rest of the series or the spin-offs, but I know that the character grows and becomes more likable over time. So if you haven't, you should. Yeah, Chris, I think that's what's happening. I remember calling it with Blockbuster. Those of you who are young may not remember Blockbuster, but I remember calling it Blockbuster once the streaming started. That places like Blockbuster, and I spent a lot of time in Blockbuster, but places like Blockbuster they were a dying breed, because the streaming straight to video to home it's blowing up. I mean, look at the movies that are gone, like Underground and Extraction and all these other movies. Six Underground, with the one with Ryan Reynolds, and Extraction with the actor Chris Hemsworth, the one who played Thor. These movies are going straight to the streaming services, and so it's the most natural thing that movie theaters, I think, eventually are going to disappear. I was just telling this, recently to one of my sons, like, you're not going to see movie theaters in 10, 15 years. There aren't going to be any movie theaters. Everything's going to be home. So let's see. Yeah, I don't really talk about other authors' characters in general, but it's like Malcolm said, you want to get to the next book. You want to get past the first book and read the next book. So give it a try, and you'll enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, then it's like I said, people who don't enjoy Monty Strong, the books aren't for you, and that's okay too. There's so many millions of books out there that you can read and characters you can read, and that's okay as well. Dan Fong, I didn't realize Brandon Lee's stunt double. He also worked in The Matrix. The guy who did John Wick he also worked as a stunt double, as Keanu Reeves' stunt double in The Matrix, is one of the guys who worked in John Wick. Dan, it's amazing. Chris says the Alamo, my favorite movie theater, just closed. Yeah, it's sad. A lot of theaters closed because of the pandemic, but also a lot of theaters closed even prior to the pandemic because there just wasn't enough people going to the theater. Why? When you can do it at home in the comfort of your home, and it costs you less. You pay a streaming service, what? Disney Plus will cost you $6.99. Netflix costs you what, $12? One movie ticket, at least here in New York, can cost you upwards of $10. One ticket for one person, for one movie. And you can pay $12 for monthly for the whole channel. It doesn't make sense for most people, All right. A lot of it is dark, but John says, from what I understand, the series is an extremely long arc, not the one, and after all 20 books so far, he isn't halfway at the point. Yeah, it's a long arc. So, yeah, $10 popcorn is a reason. And Jeanette says some movies need to be seen in theater, and I agree. Some movies, I still remember seeing Star Wars in the theater, the original Star Wars in the theater. And I wouldn't change that for anything, like watching it on a screen. It's just not the same. But people are looking at the costs, and that's why, John says the main reason is the ability to pause, run to the restroom or the kitchen, get something to eat, come back, and then come back and not miss anything. This is true. But theaters are going, mark it down. Theaters are a dying breed. They're going to disappear over time. It's just the natural progression of things. So, but it's what's going to happen. All right, guys, we are a little bit over our time, so we're going to call it a day. I want to wish you all a happy weekend, and we have our official closer, who's also our official greeter. She's going to close it for us and say, have a nice weekend. Bye.
Bye. Have a nice weekend.
All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and don't forget, be safe. We're still in the middle of a pandemic, even with vaccines being out there, okay? So get your vaccine if you can, as soon as you can, when it's your chance to get one. And wear your mask, social distance, okay? All right, guys. Don't forget, be uncommon.